Hey everyone, how you doing today? I'm glad you're here. I'm excited to explain some things about science, and today's topic is going to be about energy. Yes, that's it, energy. It's all over the place. You can't go anywhere without seeing or experiencing energy. So let's get started and talk about what we want to get out of this lesson today. Number one, I want you to learn what's the relationship between work and energy. Okay? How are they related? How do they interact? Number two, what is, or compare the difference between kinetic and potential energy. Those are two categories of energy, we'll say. And finally, what's mechanical energy? All right, so what's the relationship between work and energy? What's kinetic energy? What's potential energy? And finally, what's mechanical energy? That's what I want you to focus on during the lesson. So let's get started right away. What is energy? We said it's all around us. It's everywhere. Energy, you can't get away from it. It's all over the place. Well, the simple definition of energy is the ability to do work. That's it. The ability to do work. If something has the ability to do work, it has energy. Well, in order to really understand that, we need to know what work is. Well, work occurs when there is an object in motion caused by a force, and they're both going in the same direction. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just pretend I have a box right here, okay? And I'm going to apply a force pushing that box that direction. So I'm pushing. That box moved. What does that mean? It had motion, right? The box had motion in that direction. And what moved that box? Well, my force moved that box. Which way was my force going? The same direction. That in itself is basically the definition of work. An object and force moving in the same direction. That's work. So, let's review. Energy, the ability to do work. Work, an object in motion that's caused by a force, and they're both going the same direction. Got it? All right, I knew you would. Excellent. So, are you doing work using energy when you turn the page of a book? Absolutely. Are you doing work when your dad says, cut the lawn, and use the push more this time? Absolutely. Not a lot of fun, but yes. So, energy and work. There are two different types of energy, or categories we're going to say of energy. You've got kinetic energy and potential energy. Let's start out with kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is an energy of motion, meaning there has to be movement. Anything that's moving, like me, has kinetic energy. All right? Kinetic energy. If you see an airplane zoom by, it has kinetic energy. If you see a car driving by, it has kinetic energy. If you stand up, you have kinetic energy. So energy of motion is kinetic energy. All right, now, the other type of energy I talked about is potential energy. There's a couple different types of potential energy that we're going to discuss. One of them is called gravitational potential energy. What's the word potential mean, first of all? Well, potential means that it could do something. There's a possibility it could happen. Okay? It's got potential for something to occur. Well, gravitational potential energy means something like this. If an object is up on the top of a hill, like a ball, it has the potential or the possibility of rolling down the hill. So, when an object is above the ground level, it has potential energy. It has the potential to fall, and would that be caused by gravity? So, gravitational potential energy is when an object is basically above the ground and it has the potential to fall down. Okay? So that's gravitational potential energy. A plane in the air has a lot of gravitational potential energy. It has the potential to fall down. Okay? When you are on a trampoline and you jump up to the highest point, you have gravitational potential energy. Gravity is going to bring you back down. Okay? So that's gravitational potential energy. Second is elastic potential energy. Elastic potential energy is dealing with stretchy things, bouncy things, flexible things, like rubber bands, springs, diving boards, those types of things. Things that have flex or elasticity. Okay? A lot of things actually have elasticity, but those are the easy ones to think about. So if you take that rubber band, you pull it back and you aim it at your friend, and you let it go, well, before you let it go, when it was stretched, it had elastic potential energy. All right? If you take a spring and you squish it down, it has elastic potential energy. It has the potential to make motion or to have to do work. Okay? If you're on a diving board and you jump up and down on that diving board, when the diving board goes down, It has elastic potential energy to shoot you back up. Okay? So those are examples of elastic potential energy. Now, the last thing I talked about was mechanical energy. That was the last topic I wanted to cover. What in the world is mechanical energy? Well, mechanical energy kind of wraps it all up in this sense. Mechanical energy is basically the total amount of energy that an object has. And you figure that out by taking the amount of kinetic energy it has and adding to it the amount of potential energy it has. So if we have an airplane is a good example. It's moving through the sky, meaning it has kinetic energy, and it's above the ground, so that means it has potential energy. Therefore, you would add those two different energies together and you would get its mechanical energy or its total energy. So, hopefully you got all that today. Quick review. Let's rewind. Energy, the ability to do work. Work, a force and an object in motion in the same direction. Kinetic energy, energy of motion. Potential energy, stored energy, or the ability to have energy to move or to become kinetic energy. And finally, mechanical energy is the total amount of energy an object has. Well, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, watch the video again. Don't stress. Make sure you come up with your summary of the video and ask a few questions, write them down, and then finally be ready to discuss it and work on it in class and have a good time with our topic. So again, thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in class tomorrow. Bye.